What I want to do today is talk about mixed sticking and all that sort of stuff, but really right hand, right foot. And what I mean by that is that I could start with just a single stroke roll. And add the bass drum to the right hand. So it's the right foot in this particular case with the right hand. Motion. What happens if I did a little bit of mixed sticking? I'll go back to the snares for this. Snare drum. How about if I go cymbal? And then what I can do is maybe go to my piccolos a little bit. Now, all of that, everything that I just did, the main premise of everything was the right hand with the right foot, or if you like, the right foot with the right hand. Not all the time, but that's sort of what goes on. If I move across to some brush sticks, get this going, and get a bit funky. That's the same premise. So the whole idea of that was exactly the same thing, right hand with the right foot. Now, of course, I could go to double bass drum and do right foot, left foot, but really I'm keeping it to a single bass drum kind of premise today, okay? Now, the thing about it is that, of course, it alludes itself to mixed sticking, okay? So instead of just single stroke roll or double stroke roll, you can go down the paradiddly path. Like that, and of course you can move it around like I just have been doing. But one of the things that you can do with it is go down the track of a Steve Gadd kind of thing, who's a very, very famous, legendary drummer, and he had a little thing called Crazy Army in the early 80s, I think it was, and he was basically essentially doing army-based rudiments. I mean, your typical, you know, rudimentary style snare drum. But then putting in the bass drum with certain accents and all of that sort of business. Now, what happens is, typically speaking, when you're playing rudimentary drums, the general feel of the bass drum is a two feel because we've got two legs. Okay, so do we? That kind of feel there. But what Steve Gadd did with his Crazy Army solo, which is quite famous these days, is actually, essentially, it's what it is. Go crazy with Crazy Army. Get funky with it, essentially. So, yeah, I'd like to sort of do something along those lines, okay, so with a tribute to Steve Gadd and a homage to his piece of solo drum music called Crazy Army. It really is just the bass drum and the snare drum here. A little short little thing that I thought I'd just play, and the premise of that was doing essentially your practice pad rudiments, all of that sort of biz, and essentially putting in some funky bass drum and all that sort of stuff. Now, I could be a little bit more earthy with that rather than just sticks and being militaristic, I suppose. Is that even a word or a phrase, Chris? Come on, speak English. But what happens if I start using the tones of my tom-toms and start to think about taking Steve Gadd's fantastic ideas taking one step further by putting them around the drums and things like that. So a little bit of a circle to the start of the show where I've sort of immediately just started quite simple in premise. Whatever I, not whatever I do, I shouldn't say it like that, because if I just start with the hands, my right hand is there, my right foot will basically copy it in parts, you know, that kind of. Not all the time though, but getting a bit melodic with the idea of right foot, right hand. Hope you liked it.